Hi everybody, Alex from Be A Real Gamer here, and today we have the PC version of Ubisoft's latest installment of the long-running Splinter Cell series, Splinter Cell Blacklist. The government once again enlists the help of veteran Special Forces operative Sam Fisher. Sam and his team must hunt down and stop a group of terrorists calling themselves the Engineers, who have initiated a series of attacks called the Blacklist.
America. This is the Blacklist. The Blacklist. One new attack every 7 days. We have one demand. You have soldiers in 153 countries. Bring your troops home. Your troops home. Now. Or every week, we will attack you. We will not negotiate. You will not stop the Blacklist.
So how does this game compare to the past installments of the series? Let's find out. The game has various settings, each mission taking place in a different location, like Benghazi, London, Chicago, and many more. The recreation of each place and its atmosphere is done really well. Following the events of the previous game, Splinter Cell Conviction, the President of the United States shuts down the corrupt Third Echelon, replacing with a new unit called the Fourth Echelon, which is comprised of a team of elite operatives from various agencies. They operate in a very mobile fashion and are given orders and assignments directly from the President. The team is led by former Third Echelon agent Sam Fisher. The story itself is very political and seems to draw inspiration from current foreign affairs. You've got CIA operations in Benghazi, biological terrorist attacks, drone strike cover-ups, and even an escape from Guantanamo Bay, although Harold and Kumar are surprisingly absent. The aforementioned engineers are demanding the U.S. to remove its military forces from all other countries and end all current wars. The whole thing feels like it's the story of a Mission Impossible movie, but it definitely feels like it could have been executed much, much better. The character development does leave something to be desired. Fisher's team, aside from Grimm's daughter, are your run-of-the-mill, cliched characters. Charlie is the young, nerdy type of annoying computer hacker that's been played in I don't even know how many movies.
Plus backdoors into foreign ELIN systems and facial recognition integration from the CIA, NSA, DCS, FBI.
And Agent Briggs is the by-the-book, well-trained one-man wrecking crew who assists Sam in the field.
You're up. Show me viable positions for Overwatch.
Best sight lines are here and there.
Looks good. Grab a suppressed sniper kit.
Am I providing cover or am I taking out a target? So
They both lack originality and are hard to care about. Plus, the awkward relationship between Grimm's daughter and Fisher gets really dull and kind of annoying after the first few conversations. In fact, the only on-screen interaction between characters that I really liked was the back and forth between Sam and Andrei Kobin, an international gunrunner who kidnapped Sam's daughter in the last game.
You know, I was asleep. You ever hear the Geneva Convention? I got rights.
The voice acting is very good, despite fans' criticism of Ubisoft's decision to replace Michael Ironside as the voice of Sam Fisher. The new voice actor does a fine job of playing the role. His only downfall is that Sam sounds a bit too youthful for someone of his age.
I need to be on the ground as soon as we're over the camp.
you're going in alone.
It's nothing personal, but we had some bumps in Benghazi. I want you on the chopper for extraction.
All that aside, the story definitely serves its purpose. It gives Sam a justifiable reason for returning to service and leading Fourth Echelon. It all makes sense for a Splinter Cell game. Keep in mind, this game is played on a high to mid-range gaming PC. With the new console generation around the corner, new games are definitely starting to take advantage of the newer technologies available, and Blacklist is no exception. This game takes full advantage of all the latest PC gaming standards available with DirectX 11. Features such as ambient occlusion, tessellation, and a plethora of anti-aliasing. I'm sure all of that sounds good on paper, but how does it actually perform? In short, really well. If you're like me and love really nice graphics, you won't be disappointed with this game. From realistic lighting effects, high-res textures, and vivid attention to detail, this game does deliver. However, that's not to say it isn't without its flaws. The character models, for one, could be better. Specifically, their faces and facial animations are a lot less detailed than their clothing. One thing in particular is any character with facial hair looks absolutely garbage with textures that look like they belong in an early 360 game or a late PS2 game. Secondly, the game does have optimization issues when it comes to performance. While I had no problem playing the game on Ultra with high anti-aliasing, the game did tend to drop huge amounts of frames during certain parts, namely cutscenes. This is really strange since, as far as I could tell, everything is rendered with the same in-game engine. There's no pause between cutscenes and gameplay. Disabling VSync seems to help this issue and create its own. Still, the sudden change in FPS definitely hinders the desired smooth transitioning the developers were looking for. This is something I'd expect to be resolved with future patches or updates, but it would be really nice if that was on day one. A lot of hardcore Splinter Cell fans have wondered what exactly to expect from Blacklist. Will it be the slow and difficult stealth-based shooter that the earlier Splinter Cell games were known for, or will it be the action-packed, die-hard-esque gameplay style from Conviction? The answer might actually surprise you. Simply put, it's both. Yes, you heard me right. Blacklist throws the old and new styles together and lets players pick their poison. How does that work? Well, really nicely. Players are rewarded points for accomplishing tasks such as silently taking out guards or slipping past them altogether. In total, there are 3 different types of actions you could take. Ghost, slipping past enemies, or non-lethally knocking guards out, generally not leaving a trace of your existence. The Panther, silently killing guards and avoiding detection. And Assault, full-on, out in the open combat with guards. Doing an action from each of these categories will reward you with points. You are rewarded with more in-game currency for points you earn as a ghost in the other categories. And you can spend that currency on weapons and upgrades. Of course, this being Splinter Cell, there are still parts of the game that require the player to absolutely avoid detection and killing, or the mission has failed. There are also combat-oriented segments where you engage in gunfights that you cannot avoid being detected and are practically meant to be open conflict. For example, there's a brief portion of the game where you play as Agent Briggs, and when you do, it's in first person. The game becomes less stealth play and more open shootouts and grenade tosses, a la Call of Duty. The gameplay consists of lots of different mechanics, and it feels like it borrows a lot from the other Ubisoft games. There's running, vaulting, and natural climbing, a la Assassin's Creed 3, third-person shooting, and gadgets, just like Ghost Recon Future Soldier. And clearly, Ubisoft developers like to share with each other, which is a good thing. These different gameplay elements come together greatly, and each give an added layer of depth. Unfortunately, it isn't all sunshine and lollipops. The game indeed does have its flaws. One I can't help but pointing out is the less than perfect controls. When starting out, I found them confusing and clunky. Trying to quickly switch between cover to go unnoticed would sometimes result in me hurling over the cover instead, causing instant detection. And a game like this, getting killed because of controls is something that just isn't justifiable anymore. Movement, sadly, isn't the only area that suffers from poor button mapping. Switching between weapons and gadgets require you to use the directional pad. Down for an alternative weapon, up for activating your goggles, left and right are designated for the special weapon and the pistol respectively. All that is fine, but holding any of these buttons down on the D-pad brings up a selection wheel that can be navigated using the right thumbstick. It leaves a lot to be desired. Pressing Y while in the selection wheel will toggle your goggle setting between both night vision, sonar, and a few others. All this is very tedious. It makes it very, very difficult to switch what you need on the fly. To make matters worse is most of the face buttons serve double duty. Holding X will pick up a dead body, but the same function is designated to pick up most weapons. And what do dead cards always have right next to them? That's right, a weapon. And because of this, I found myself having to fumble around trying to pick up my rifle while attempting to hide a dead body. While understandably there are only so many buttons on a controller, I feel like this could have been done a lot better if given more thought. The multiplayer in Blacklist is called Spies vs. Mercs. The Mercs are in third person using non-lethal weapons such as EMP grenades, flashbangs, and in the new mode, guns for the first time ever. Their objective is to hack the 3 terminals in-game. while the mercs are in first person. They use mines, frag grenades, and assault rifles. They also have a lot more body armor. Gameplay is a cat-and-mouse game between the mercs and the spies, with the spies using stealth and agility to jump around the map and hide. While the mercs use brute force and raw aggression to chase them down. The multiplayer is a bit different from Double Agent and more in the style of Pandora Tomorrow and Chaos Theory, where spies totally aren't slaughtered if caught out in the open. For the first time, spies are armed with an assortment of different guns and can fight with the mercs straight up in the new Blacklist 4v4 mode. There's also a classic 2v2 mode where spies only have crossbows, a little bit more of the purist type mode. Although, unlike the older ones, it seems that the maps have less hiding places for the spies, so it kind of balances out. Map design is well done, though I would have preferred to see more hiding places for spies. The co-op missions are a welcomed addition as well, but aren't as well thought out as some of the campaign missions. They usually consist of some type of objectives you have to complete, like infiltrating someone's base, hacking some phones and computers to gain some intelligence, or simply having to wipe out all the terrorists in a village. In the end, they don't add much value except for a few extra hours of gameplay and the ability to play terrorist hunt with a friend. Which, I mean, for that it does its job. So, all in all, Splinter Cell Blacklist is one of the most fun games I've played recently. It's got a little bit of something for everyone. Stealth-based infiltration, blockbuster action, challenging gameplay that isn't too frustrating and never feels redundant. While it has its issues like awkward controls and less than perfect graphical optimizations, and cliched characters, it definitely makes up for it, and then some. So we give Splinter Cell Blacklist a 9.0, a highly recommended game for stealth and shooter fans alike. If you'd like to see more, check out the review on the site in the link below. Please like, comment, and subscribe.